Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the BOCC statutory meeting. Today's date is Thursday, May 21st, and the time is 9:01 a.m. We will call this meeting in order. First up is the Pledge of Allegiance. Paula, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States to the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. We will take attendance beginning with Miss Mitchell.
Cynthia Mitchell, County Attorney.
Paula McFeeters.
Zach Swearingen.
Miles Lucero.
Thank you to everybody else in attendance. Are there any modifications to today's agenda?
There are none.
I will ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. That'll bring us to public comment. I've got two people on public comment, and if anybody else would like to speak for public comment, just let us know afterwards. But Wendy and then Suzanne after Wendy.
Good morning, Commissioners. I attended the Planning Commission hearing last night in regards to the sheep farm on Courtner Road and South Road. And first of all, I have to say, I was really discouraged. I am sorry that I filed the violation. I'm going to make a public apology. I am very sorry that I did that. I thought that we could come to a better understanding of how our rules and regulations work, why photographs against gravel pits and gravel trucks don't count, but photographs against sheep farms do, and sheep. The fact that this is a couple that's in their 80s that are now going to probably close their facility down and leave Pueblo County is very sad. Our seal still says agriculture, and we're going to force another family that does agriculture out of Pueblo County now. I do not understand everything that I've read. The county statute 17.03.030 under B, agriculture use 1, feeding operations, number 6, animal feeding operations shall comply with all applicable requirements of the Colorado Department of Health and Environment. If you go to those statutes, on theirs, it says that the very first definition of a feed operation, an AFO, a CAFO, has to meet a standard of 45 days, not consecutive days, but 45 days in a 12-month period. What was conveyed at the hearing last night is that is not true. They would not allow me to read this into the record. The takeaway from the meeting last night was a zoning inspector from Pueblo County can go out, take a photograph. He took 4, one day, of a sheep operation, and now they're in violation. They have to apply for a special use permit. There has to be some, I heard and read 2 days ago, and it's now disappeared, that there was a commercial driveway entrance that has to be approved, a hydrological study that has to be done. We have water that comes off the state pit on their driveway. We have water that comes off the Nextera entrance on 40th Lane. And I don't understand. I mean, are we going to make all of our ranchers now have special driveways with water studies? What are your rules? We're supposed to be a statutory county that follows state statutes, but what I heard last night is, no, that's not right.
Thank
We
you.
have our rules. So can you address this? Can you explain it?
Yeah,
What does this mean?
yeah, I mean, I'll dig back into it and start looking at it in more depth and then get with you on it.
Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify. Ms. Kearns, you come before the board many times with various concerns, and I appreciate your advocacy for the community. I did watch the meeting last night that you're referencing, and I saw the context of the conversation. You're always welcome to come with your concerns, of course, to this board, but there's a lot of things involved in the things that you bring before us that are not in context with what is going on with the Planning and Development Division. And all I want to do is reinforce that public comment policy that we passed allows you the opportunity to come speak before this board, but there are rules to follow. One of them is not to engage in debate with the board while you present a statement, and I would ask that you respect that. Your time is now over, and I'd like you to be able to take a seat so we can get to the next public comment period. But we cannot continue to allow you to utilize your time in a way that is not properly allowed in our ordinance that we passed for public comment. There's a copy available to you. I'd encourage you to read it,
Okay.
but this is not something that we can continue to allow you to do because
Okay.
it's out of order.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne? And then if anybody would like to speak afterwards, just let us know.
Well, I'm just going to change it up here a little bit today. You know, when I think about being an advocate for people here in Pueblo County and what works and what doesn't work, and the rules, like Wendy says, is following the rules. What are the guidelines? You know, we put 300 more semi trucks in front of an elementary school and middle school and a high school where kids are just learning how to drive. And, you know, I don't remember on that SUP that gravel pit had to improve their driveway into the pit. And that's 300 more trucks. When the SUP was passed for the puppy mill with 35 breeding female dogs at the puppy mill, I don't recall that that puppy mill had to have and an area where they board horses had to have their place improved either. You know, I think about this a little bit, and you know, I'm concerned. It is a concerning thing because I will be entering in an SUP within the next year, hopefully, for a rescue. And you know, I worry. I worry about what I'm going to have to be facing. I was a little concerned last night when they called it an AFO because it doesn't meet AFO standards. It doesn't. And what they have there does not meet an AFO. And, you know, for a planner to come up and say, this is an AFO. No, it's not an AFO. They don't have the number of sheep there. And I worry for our farmers and our ranchers. They're all under attack anyway for a lot of economic reasons. It's not like they're bringing in semis anymore. Most of the farmers and ranchers, when they're moving their cattle and they're moving their sheep, they're moving their livestock, they're all doing it with horse trailers and trucks because it's much more cost effective than bringing in semis. I think that's one thing that, you know, when you're looking at having to have these improvements for certain things, it's surely not 300 more semi trucks, gravel trucks on a highway. Thanks.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak for public comment? Seeing none. I'm sure that we'll address some of that during commissioner comments. Next, we have our regular agenda, Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Our first agenda 2A, item 2A is a resolution approving Amendment 8 to the grant contract between the State of Colorado, Department of Human Services, Behavioral Health Administration, and Public County on behalf of the Public County Sheriff's Office for Jail-Based Behavioral Health Services grant funding, presented by Tori Pedraza, JBBS Program Manager.
Good morning. I'm Tori Pedraza, the JBBS Program Manager, here to present to you the fiscal year budget for 26-27. The proposed budget will be $620,000 to last us for the fiscal year. It will be a cut in what we've received last year, but it will not disrupt any services. We'll be able to continue providing the same things to the inmate population and those releasing from the jail. I did get some numbers for you guys just to show you a little bit. Since July 1 of this current year, we have helped 484 inmates total, whether it be referrals to outside agencies, inside programming, things like that, and then 124 for MAT services to receive, whether that's outside in the community or inside as well. And then we are planning to get some more groups started in the jail and resources to our inmates to allow them to have more opportunities and hopefully find some supplemental money resources to kind of help with that cut from last year. And that's all I have.
Trying to think of a really imperative question for you, but I don't have any.
That's
Thank you.
okay.
I don't know that it's imperative, but I do have a probably easy question.
Sure.
Can these JBBS dollars be used only for inmates when they're incarcerated, or the dollars can go to previously incarcerated folks when they're outside of the jail?
So it starts when they're inside. We have to connect with them while they are a current inmate. And then the resources are available while they're in, and then when they transition out or for up to 12 months after their release.
So they follow the inmate
Yeah.
for up to 12 months.
Mhm.
And who's responsible for that monitoring? Is it someone within the county, someone within the sheriff's department? Who maintains that line of communication with the previously incarcerated person?
So our case managers, we have a staff at the JBBS office. They are the ones that are in there with the inmates, conducting the groups, having individual sessions with them, and then making those connections for them on the outside. And then that is who they communicate with, their assigned case manager.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I have no more
Thank you.
questions.
You guys good?
Important program and thank
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
for doing that.
I will ask for a motion to approve item 2A.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Our next item 2B is resolution approving the agreement for home-based family preservation services between Justice Works Colorado and Pueblo County on behalf of the Pueblo County Department of Human Services, presented by Chris Reed, Deputy Director of Protective Services.
Thank you. Good morning,
morning.
Commissioners. Chris Reed, Child Welfare. I'm requesting permission to enter into a core services contract with Justice Works. Justice Works is a service provider that primarily works with our older youth using restorative justice competencies, offering crisis intervention, coaching, and family preservation services. Pueblo County Child Welfare Core Services allocation is 80% provided by state federal funding and 20% county match that is budgeted in the Fund 204. Core services funds are the payer of last resort and cannot be used on expenditures where there's another source of payment. The contract with Justice Works is $150,000 for community and home-based services for child welfare families. Last fiscal year, 24-25, we spent a little over $23,000 on services serving 43 families through Justice Works. And so far this current fiscal year, we've spent about $70,000 and served 59 families.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. The last few contracts that you presented indicate a cap, like this one has a $150,000 cap.
Yes.
And it seems like our spend comes in well below the cap for these types of programs. When we budget for 150 but spend 75, what happens to the remainder of that money? Is it earmarked specifically for these types of programs, or can it be allocated towards something else?
It's when we don't spend, we can use it for hard goods for families or special economic assistance. So it gets used for child welfare families in other ways that doesn't get used specifically for these agencies.
Okay. I think that's my only question. Thank you for the very detailed write-up in here, Mr. Martinez and Tammy. I think you guys are the ones, your names are on here. So thanks for being so thorough with these request forms. It helps give all the background so I don't have to wonder too much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I'll ask for a motion to approve item 2B.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. Our next item 2B is a resolution approving the 2026 election IGA between Pueblo County on behalf of the Clerk and Recorder's Office and the Pueblo West Metro District, presented by Gavin Wilney.
Good morning, Commissioners. Unfortunately, Clerk Rivera could not be here this morning, so I volunteered in her place. This is one of our standard election agreements with the districts within Pueblo County that we enter into each year. As you'll recall, we usually have one for the school districts, Pueblo West, Colorado City. So this is just the one we have in anticipation of the 2026 general election with Pueblo West. You'll probably see a few more of these with the other districts. The way these work is that the clerk's office, because of their expertise and equipment for elections, offer to conduct the elections on behalf of these districts, and the districts pay for their cost of the election. And so that's pretty standard, and that's what you have before you.
Okay.
I don't really have any questions, Gavin, so
Thank you.
thank you.
Nor do I. These have become pretty routine, and as you mentioned, we'll probably be seeing a few more of them come before us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll ask for a motion to approve item 2C.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. Our next item is the first reading of an ordinance. This is first reading of ordinance number 2026-34, an ordinance amending Title 10 Vehicles and Traffic of the Pueblo County Code by the addition of a new chapter 10.10 regarding restrictions on commercial haul vehicle traffic on 36th Lane between US Highway 50 and South Road and providing related matters. So Commissioners, this ordinance follows up the resolution that was passed pursuant to Resolution 26-118 that imposed time of day restrictions on commercial vehicles. And this ordinance before you makes this into law for the county. So it spells out what's in the code, I'm sorry, in the resolution, plus some additional details. So basically, the code indicates that a commercial haul vehicle means any motor vehicle or combination of vehicles with a registered gross value weight in excess of 26,000 pounds and not including school buses. The time of day restrictions imposed by this ordinance are between 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday and 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Commercial haul vehicles are prohibited from operating on 36th Lane between Highway 50 and South Road during those restricted hours. Additionally, the restrictions apply during the Pueblo County's School District 70 school days. They are suspended during holidays, school breaks, and summer recess. So the penalties for violating the time of day restriction are pursuant to statute, and the fine for violating the ordinance would be no more than $35 for each separate violation, plus a surcharge of $10 and any applicable court surcharges and administrative fees. And that's the ordinance in a nutshell. It's being read today, and the county will need to set it for hearing. So the public may come and provide input regarding this ordinance. The county will need to advertise this in the newspaper once 15 days before the hearing, and then again 8 days before the hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. I think this is great. It's a good step forward. I was a little bit disappointed when I learned about the kind of cap on the severity of the penalties. However, I think this ordinance existing in conjunction with the signage is going to be produced and located on either end of 36 Lane where the curfew applies. I think it's all good things, and it's what we can do.
Right.
And so we're doing it, and I get the feeling that behavior is already changing, the word's getting out, and thank you to the county attorney's office. Thank you to Director George over in Public Works getting the signage made. So I think we're definitely on the right track, and I would say with the consent of my commissioners that we go ahead and schedule the hearing at the appropriate time interval and get this thing published and make it official.
Cynthia, can you, just on a procedural question, is this a separate hearing just for the ordinance, or is it involved in another meeting? How does it work? How do we navigate that?
It would be just a portion on a regular meeting agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I mean, we use the tools that we have in our toolkit, so to speak, and this is one of those. And it's still trying to work towards getting traffic off of that road as a haul route as much as possible. That takes money. So in constant communications with private and working with our public works and everybody else to try and our planning and zoning to try and achieve that and give an alternate route. There are obviously multiple partners in anything out there. I mean, you're tying into Highway 50, so you've got CDOT, you have District 70. There's a lot of history with a lot of that. Most of it came before any of us were here, but we're still trying to do what we can, to your point, to try and alleviate that traffic in front of that school as much as possible during those hours. So thank you to everybody who helped get this thing going. I will,
Would you like to schedule the hearing on this matter for Thursday, June 18th?
is that the soonest that we could?
That gives us
The notice and
a few
everything?
weeks, and with the newspaper publishing
Okay.
timelines, that should be a safe.
Okay, yeah, if
Amount of
that's
time.
as quick as we can do it safely, then yeah. June 18th?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to have the hearing for item 3A on,
Do we need a motion on this one, or is this,
Actually, you do not need a motion.
no? Okay, well,
we can
then,
just direct June 18th? We'll
June
plan a
18th,
second reading? Okay.
Yes.
having a reading. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you. That'll bring us into commissioner comments. I can go first real quick. I'll be real quick, but just again, congratulations to all the graduates. And then as we've said up here before, graduations are ongoing. So, you know, I think Paula said as far as safety around driving, you know, you got kids running around, you got a lot of cars at houses that aren't normally there. So I would just ask everybody to be aware of that. This is post, but there was a Frisbee golf tournament at City Park last weekend. And I had to drive through City Park a few times over the weekend, and there's a ton of people there. So it is once again another amenity that we have here in Pueblo that draws people in from outside of Pueblo, in addition to so many others. And I'm not the biggest wine drinker, but there's some wine event at the Sangre de Cristo Art Center, I think today. But if people just want to get on to share Pueblo events, there's a lot of things on there that you may not be aware of for events that are happening locally, and that, you know, we need to get out and support these people and all these businesses that participate in this, because they need to generate revenue as well. And then I'm talking right now with planning and zoning and trying to get some additional information. I know that there were complaints filed on the sheep farm and some other things. So we're trying to work through this. Our planning and zoning department is not 100% complaint. Well, I mean, when complaints are filed, planning and zoning department has to go out and investigate those. And so they are doing that. And we want to work with everybody here. I mean, we try to advertise ourselves as being quote unquote business friendly, and we are, and we're working towards that. But things have to be harmonious with the environment that they sit in. SUPs are a tool that we have, but I really don't see that we are really combative in our planning and zoning department or our building department or any of those things. And if people hear otherwise, I want to know about it, because we are there as a helping entity, not a punitive one. But again, when complaints are filed, they have to look into them. So, but again, digging into it a little bit more, and then we'll have some more next week on it. That's all I got. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank
you, Commissioner. Well said. My comments today, we get to do a lot of things and see a lot of things around the community and a lot of positivity. And of course, along with positivity, there's a lot of negativity. And I just want to say, from where I sit and what I see in this community, I'm really kind of getting negativity fatigue about Pueblo. All it takes is a few trips to Denver or a week stay up there for me to realize what we have here. I think what we need in our community really is a vision of what our community needs to be. And I say this because when we had a large steel mill with 8,000 employees, Pueblo had an identity that was wrapped around a steel mill. We were a manufacturing town. We still kind of have that image, right? But we've kind of lost knowing who we are in this community. What are we? What do we do? Who are we going to become? And frankly, this job is one of the most important pieces of leadership in this community, of saying what we expect our community to be, what we strive for our community to be, is something more. More opportunities for our kids, better industry coming in, jobs. We have water, land, sunshine. A lot of things communities would love to have. So I just want to say to those that watch, that hear the negativity all the time, sometimes you have to look at the bright side. And there was a song that was written, around the turn of the century, keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side, keep on the sunny side of life. We need a little bit more of that in this community, and we need some leadership to say, this is what we can become, and we will work together to do that. So I just want to encourage people to look for those opportunities, and let's work together in this community to make Pueblo the best it can be. I do believe it's one of the best communities in our state, or I wouldn't live here. And yes, I hear negativity all the time, but that's why I'm in this job, because I believe Pueblo deserves better. I know our citizens want better, and we will strive to do that. So I just want to throw that out there, that not everything is a negativity, it's an opportunity. And so let's start looking at things that way, and let's work together to get it. I know this board is committed to what you said, Commissioner, to make things easier for our citizens and to work through things. Our planning and zoning and development and all of that's the hardest area of our jobs in this organization, because they are the ones that have to make sure all of the rules get followed and everyone has a right to their property. Those are not easy things, but I do want to applaud our planning department because they have a process that I believe allows for that fairness, that adjudication. And frankly, if it's not right, we make it right. We can change things. It's not a set in stone process with the things that they do. It does take citizen involvement, citizen communication, and that is what forms the rules that we live by here. So yeah, there are always opportunities for negativity, but I just wanted to say today, it's time for leadership that says we can see above a horizon that shows a future that will be brighter for our kids and for our families. And we're working towards that. And I just want to throw that out there because so much of what I see and hear conflicts with what I know our community's about. And I just want to get us back in that mindset. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
That's really well said, Commissioner. I think if I could put a bow on that, it takes all of us to tell our story and as who we are. And if we keep telling ourselves that we're not good enough and we'll never be this and we'll never be that, then that's the reality of the situation. So I really appreciate that. And I'm right there with you that it's our obligation as leaders in this community to continually pump up this community and highlight all of the amazing things that we have going on. So to that end, I did want to highlight a really cool event coming to town. Grassroots Gravel is an organization in town that does like gravel bike races. This year, in addition to their big race in the fall, they're doing a race on Sunday called the Farm Stand 50. And it's a 50-mile gravel bike race out on the mesa through Vineland, through Avondale.
50 mile?
50-mile.
Wow.
Nice little jaunt. Yeah. I asked if I could use my electric bike and they said no.
Wow.
So anyway, they have people signed up from 11 different states coming here. It's sold out. I don't know what the max capacity is, but just another really uniquely Pueblo event that's going to draw people here, showcase our heritage, showcase our agricultural history. So good job to Mr. Adam Davidson for having such a really unique and cool organization, and he being able to tie in bike riding with who we are as a community. Quickly, I wanted to address Ms. Kern. I have really tried hard to alleviate the community's concern to say the county's coming after agriculture. The county's coming after our ranchers and our farmers. I'll reiterate it because it got said again today. Not every farmer in the county and every rancher is going to have a commercial driveway entrance. I do agree with you by and large, ma'am, and you know this, that we have to apply our code uniformly, and we have to remove even the appearance of targeting any given property owner or any specific use. It has to be by the book. So I did just want to reiterate, the county is not coming after agriculture. In fact, if you watched the Planning Commission meeting last night, you will see that we are taking steps to further clear up the definitions of animal feeding operations and what operations do and don't qualify or are exempted out of needing a special use permit, even if you do qualify as an animal feeding operation. Lastly, I wanted to just thank a couple of organizations, Colorado Preservation Incorporated and History Colorado. Last week, I had the opportunity to make the rare drive north of the Pueblo County line and made it all the way up to the big city in Denver to an event put on by Colorado Preservation Incorporated. it's called the Dana Crawford Awards. Dana Crawford was a longtime champion of historical preservation in this across the state. And the big award that night, named for Dana Crawford, was given to the Consilia family. We mentioned this a couple of months ago, but last week was the actual awards. So it was up in Denver, it was at the Art Museum. It was a packed house, and Pueblo really, really shined. We had a great contingent of Pueblo people there, but the Consilias were the highlight. Their preservation efforts here in town are the Union Depot was all over the branding for the event. It was just a really, really special night for Pueblo. And Donda Prince, who is the president and chief executive for History Colorado, also happens to be a Pueblo native. She gave one of the best speeches I've ever heard, honoring the Consilia family. It made me so proud to be from Pueblo. And with her permission, I would really like to share just a small piece of that speech because I think the community needs to hear it. To your point about highlighting what is great about our community and what we have. So I'll try to make it through this. It's really special. Okay, so I'll just go ahead. So again, this is just a real quick excerpt. I kind of piecemealed some pieces of the speech together. So here we go. Most of our families came to Pueblo to work in blast furnaces, coal mines, coke ovens, lime quarries, smelters, wire mills, rail yards, and the related labor that fueled the manufacture of steel for Colorado Fuel and Iron. In the early 20th century, workers from hardscrabble locations across the globe came to work for Colorado's largest private employer. 3 of those ethnicities became rooted in the area and continue to generationally define Pueblo: Mexican, Italian, and former Yugoslavian, what we lovingly refer to as our Bojan friends. The Consilias have beautifully and unabashedly preserved so much of this place that it is rooted and inextricable to who we are. Their love and their investment in the places and buildings that make Pueblo special is the opposite of shame. It has been a decades-long lesson that Pueblo, our place in the world, is worthy, which means that we must be worthy too. Our brave, brilliant, and hardworking ancestors built our city with grit, and it is a gift to be cherished. The Consilia family has matched the audacity of our ancestors by preserving the places that have formed us, such as, of course, the iconic Union Depot, its neighboring Union Avenue Historic District, the Ormond Mansion, St. Patrick's Church, and the Coronado Motel. The heart-filled and hearty preservation energy of Jim and Joe Consilia, and now the next generation of Consilia family, has prevented Pueblo from being one of those beige, amorphous, and unremarkable places that dots the American landscape. Instead, they have stood against such mainstream mediocrity with recognition that we do not need to start from scratch to build a beautiful future. There are some who think economic viability means Paneras and parking lots, and then there are those who understand the irreplaceable value of Zolzman's Bakery and the Union Avenue Historic District. Do we choose the inherent value in a WP-era bathhouse built by our grandfathers, or some new shapeless standard fare? One has character and connects us to who we are, and the other could be anywhere. One of the best things about Southern Colorado is that we have long resisted, for all sorts of cultural, economic, and geographic reasons, assimilation into the mainstream. Preservation is a physical manifestation of that fortitude. The Consilia family has demonstrated what is possible when we preserve what matters most and the strength we build from honoring who we are. I was raised in an old school way, as many Puebloans were, and taught the value of knowing where you come from. In fact, it is one of the best compliments you could say about a person. The Consilia family epitomizes this value. They could have done a lot of things in this wide world, but they chose to do what Ms. Donda Prince lovingly calls homework, returning to and reciprocating your talents and your gifts to the place that made you. You know, when I reflected on that, it made me realize we're stewards of this place for a moment in time. And it's so special and an honor that we get to do that. But it's not just some county commissioners that get to do that. It's all of us that care about our heritage, that know where we come from, and take care of this place for this moment in time. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, well said. We do have a special place here. And again, I mean, we've got Memorial Day Monday. So there's some really good events around the community as well. So please just participate. All we are is representatives of the people here. And it's up to all of you to consistently remind us of that and remind us of the issues out in the community. So appreciate that and well said by both y'all. Our next meeting will be May 26th. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned.